Alright, y'all. I'm out here with the kayak. This will probably be bits and pieces here and there of the review on the Feelfree Lure 10. This is the V2 version 10, I think is what that stands for. And I took it out a couple of days ago. I was going to take it out again today, but the wind was going to be beastly, so I decided not to. So I figured I'll add this on, and we'll have a little up-close review, kind of like I did with the Hobie. Alright, here we go. So apologies for the weird camera angle, but I want y'all to get the whole view of this from the bottom. You can kind of see it's kind of pontooned out to an extent. There's two channels cut in here. It's pretty wide. I think this one's 34 inches. I'll confirm that at some point. This is the wheel and the keel that is kind of their patented deal that is built in. This is a good sized little wheel. It's probably at least quite close to 3 inches wide. Really helps on solid surfaces. I had to move it on some gravel, and that didn't go very well. Let me flip this thing back around. Like I said, this didn't do very well on gravel, but it's not supposed to. It did great when it was on concrete at the ramp. It does great on even solid. If it's a hard surface as far as grass or dirt, it did really well for that and moving it around. I did have to grab it with two hands up in the front at times because it did still want to kind of wobble back and forth, but that's because, you know, it's not a very wide wheel. But, you know, the thing also weighs 70 something pounds. So it's going to have some wobble to it here and there. But it was very cool, very good. Go straight through here. I'll show you this in a little bit once we get to that. But going down the side, this I think it's called green camo. I'd have to look it up. I can't remember which color this is called. There are 6 scupper holes. However, there are some that are not all the way through, and I've got to figure out why that is. But anyway, it's got a nice point to the front, a nice V to it, cuts through the water pretty good. A lot of people have talked, and I probably said this in the other part of the video, about how it's kind of hard to navigate. It wasn't terrible. It was good. Probably doesn't move as fast as my Tamarack, but then again, you know, my Tamarack is, you know, 15 pounds or more lighter than this one is, probably close to 20 pounds lighter, as far as just the hull weight. Handle up front, I'll flip this over so you guys can kind of see the other side. Okay, another narrow angle from up top. It's a good looking kayak. It's really built well. Let's get into it. All right, like I mentioned a while ago, nice big built-in handle. This is great. The T-handles are okay for smaller kayaks, but I really think that anything, I mean, this isn't a big kayak, it's a 10-foot kayak, but anything heavier, especially like this, and wider, all that, I really think needs the molded in handles, and this one is really, really nice. You can add, I'm sure, some kind of a strap to it if you wanted to, but this is really nice, and I would grab it with two hands. I can't do that because I'm holding my camera, but, you know, hand here, and then move it, and this thing was nice. Next thing, big container up front, hatches lock down, and good bit of storage inside. You can, I think these come, I mean, you can buy like a pouch, so to speak, that would go with this, that you could put in here and then put other stuff in it. However, you could just throw a dry bag in here if you wanted to. It does go back all the way through from what I understand. So if you wanted to, you could probably put rods and reels on the sides, push those back through there if you were going on a trip, you know, day trip and overnight, that kind of a thing. But nice amount of storage in here. It's got a seal on it right here. Nice rubber seal. Locks down. Really nice compartment. Next up, I believe these are set up that you could draw. I saw somebody do this on, well, I think they had them on one of the bigger Feelfree lures, but they would put lights in here, and these little spots are some on the other side too. I'm sure it's for additional things. If you wanted to add switches, you could put some little round switches maybe in there, but probably more for lighting. That I'll check again. I'll try to write that in the comments or in the description as the video is going through, if I find out exactly what they're for. Footrest, mounts, whatever you want to call these. These are pretty cool. They're a little difficult to get used to because I've never used these before. See if I can do this with one hand. So you twist them. I don't know which way. So I'm twisting it counterclockwise, and I think that will allow me to push it. Nope. Clockwise. There we go. Clockwise will loosen it. You can slide them up and down to wherever you need them to be. I had mine pretty close. Again, I'm short. And then you just twist them counterclockwise once you get it kind of in a groove. There are little grooves. You can see them on this side. There's little grooves in here, and you have to kind of catch it in there to get it to snap in and lock in place so that it won't move, okay? Now what I might do with this, if I do get this one, is there's a cabling system built into it. I'll go and show you that now. I'm kind of jumping around here, but it's built in for the rudder system. And if you can see this may not focus real well on this, but this is a built-in little rubber grommet kind of a deal, and it's got a hole in it, and that goes all the way back to the back. So it's built in. You just come right out through here, and you can go up and attach to the top of your pedal with an additional kind of a foot pedal thing that will control the rudder. So that line will go all the way through here, through the back, and you can see where it comes out in the back. One on each side. There's one in the middle. I'll have to double check, and I don't remember what that one's for. Maybe that's to raise the rudder. I'm not sure. I'll have to find out where that one goes. It may go up to the front. I'm not positive. Anyway, so you can run that all the way through. So if I were to get this one, that's probably what I'll do, is I'll run through here, go to the back, and I'll connect it to my trolling motor instead of to a rudder. I may have a rudder on the trolling motor, I may not. I was thinking about this the other day. I was watching some other videos, and it seems like it might be easier, instead of trying to turn the whole trolling motor around as you're moving it and moving the whole motor of the trolling motor, just to add a prop. I've seen them, they have props that'll attach to the shaft of the trolling motor, and it'd be a lot easier probably to twist the fin of the actual rudder to it'd be easier to move that back and forth than it would be probably the whole motor. And then that way you can mount the motor, have it straight, have it stable, and then just turn the little fin of the rudder. So I may be doing that, I don't know. Depends on if I get this one, it depends on what I get. All right, here we go. Let me get back to it. Okay. Let me tell you about this. So this goes all the way through, as you can see. And you can mount multiple things with this. Evidently, you can put a trolling motor. They recommend like one of these water snakes, which are real skinny. They're very lightweight, I guess. The motors aren't very big, all that kind of thing. And there's a mount for it that you would drop in here and put your little water snake trolling motor in it. I don't personally like the idea, and I may have said this before, because you could also mount one to the front, regular trolling motor to the front of this, especially the bigger ones. It may work better with an 11-footer or a 12-footer probably, but I don't like the trolling motor being in the front when I don't have room to move around and kind of navigate where the fish is going to go, so to speak. So if I'm sitting back here and the motor's up here and the fish, I'm casting out in the front, and if the fish is running around, you know, the whole front edge of the boat, he's more likely getting the trolling motor. Now sure, I can lift it up and I can raise it and I can move it out of the way. That you can do. But probably what I'll do if I get this is I'll mount my my graph and the transducer to this part, and I'll show you that here in just a second. So there you go. This is the pod. I think this is what they call this. And what you can do is you can take this all the way out. Now I'll just show you. It's real easy. There's a snap, kind of a little handle here. You just pull the orange part back, up, and just pick it up, take it out. Okay, so it's really easy to move it in and out. You just slide it under first, the front, drop that down, push this down underneath. Easier said than done. Let me hold my mouth right here. There we go. Jeez, shouldn't have been that hard. Anyway, and then you also have space inside of it. Same thing, pop them loose. You got one on both sides, one on each side. One on both sides, same difference, I guess. This comes off. It'd be kind of cool if that had a hinge on it, but it doesn't. There's probably a reason for that. It's got a little cord on it, so it doesn't like fly out of the boat, out of the kayak on you. And then there's a good space. There's a good storage space down here. I mean, it goes pretty deep. It's kind of hard to see. It's dark out here today. It's windy. It's blah. Anyway, but what I've seen people do is they'll put their battery, small battery, in this compartment, kind of like the little 8 amp hour one I have that I use for basically both of my graphs. The 7-inch Garmin, that 73SV, will run probably 2-3 days off of that little battery. And then I also run my little Hummingbird that I have on the other kayak. I run that off that little battery. So that can just go right down in here. And then underneath, you would mount your transducer to the bottom of it. Mount your transducer to the bottom of it. Drop it down in here. See if I can do this faster this time. Nope. There we go. All right, and you can run your wiring through here. This is a little rubber, kind of a big rubber washer. It's got a hole in that. So you would run it through here, right there. You can see that. Yep, there you go. That's another little rubber washer on the other side. So you'd run it through there, and then down to your transducer. I'm not exactly sure how it waterproofs it. I haven't looked into that yet, but that would be something that you can do, which I would probably do that instead of buying a mount for the side rails, which, side note, these are recessed side rails for your accessories. However, Feelfree has a specific type of trough, or whatever you want to call this, and you can't just use any type of rail system on it, like Yak Attack or Railblazer or anything like that. You have to buy an adapter, or you have to buy their adapters. I think that Yak Attack sells these little metal adapters. I'll try to throw a picture up on the screen of those, and those will go in here, and they have little like bolt studs that come out the other side of it that you could connect any accessory to. So you can do it that way, or you can buy theirs, I guess, and just go with it from there and add your attachments. However, if I have the option to have the graph right in front of me, mounted right on top of this, where it's coming right out of here, it's sealed, it's nice and, you know, dry, and I can just mount it right here on top, then I'm probably going to do that. I just think that would be the best way to have it, and then it's right in front of me, and I can see it straight ahead. I don't have to look off to the side, and it's out of the way. It's not sticking up off on the side. I like this kayak because I think mostly it is for fishing. I know they have the Moken, and that you can fish out of that too. It's got the rod holders built in and all that kind of stuff. But it has the attachments. Dang, I keep flipping around you guys here. The rails are not recessed. These are flush. These are flush. The other ones sit up on top, which isn't a terrible thing. Most people add those. They add them and they're on top anyway. That doesn't really cause an issue. It's just kind of cool that they are like that. Little grooves built into it here to drain water out, so it'll go on out in the scupper holes. But I do like the fact that this has multiple options and multiple things you can do with it, and how you can add on a rudder. You can put a trolling motor in the front here. You can put your graph up here. You have extra storage here. That on the Moken, it just has a big open area, which isn't terrible. Some people like that, and you just throw a bag up here or throw a cooler up there or whatever. And I kind of like the idea of having dry storage if I need it. All right, next. One of the best things about this, molded in handles, just like in the front, just like in the back. Molded in handles. These are sturdy. They don't have the little flappy straps like mine has. I don't know if that's a word or not. I've just, you know, it's a flappy strap. I don't know what these are called. It has one in the back, because if you have something mounted here, you got to have something to grab it from. But these on the side, which are similar to the ones on my Tamarack until I changed them, are brutal if you're trying to pick it up and mount it on the top of your vehicle, because your hands get smashed down in between this and the kayak. So I love the fact that these are molded in. These are super nice. Next thing, I don't have my paddle back here because the paddle's in my car, but these paddle holders or paddle rests, you can see These are built in, like with a lip on them, semi-rounded. You drop your paddle on top of these, and I never used both of them. If I was transporting it like this, probably, and I was throw it in the back of a vehicle, my truck or whatever, and I was going down the road, then yeah, I'd probably put both of them on there. Then again, I probably wouldn't even leave it on here. But it's got a little handle on it. You can see that. You just grab that, and that'll hold down the paddle. These are really nice to have. It's fairly quick once you get used to them, just to pull this over top, and the paddle's in here holding it down. Nice little accessory here, especially that they have two. Also, yeah, I'm on both sides, so it's nice to have on either side. You can put the paddle, if you're a lefty or a righty, I guess, I don't know. You can put it on either side you want to, or whatever's just easiest. If you reach down with your left to grab your paddle, put it on the left hand side, put it on the right hand side, wherever you want to put it. So you can put two paddles if you want, I guess, but why would you want that? Anyway, this up in the front here, got these all strapped together when I was transporting it. All right, this is like a, not a grab handle, but like a grab leash, I guess you would say, grab strap. Making all kinds of words up today. This is built in. This is so you can stand up easier. I did use it when I stood up, just because I wouldn't make sure I didn't fall down in the water. It's pretty cold out there right now, and the water is getting cooler and cooler. So I grabbed this when I stood up. It was very helpful. I even held on to it while I was standing up, just to check and see, just to make sure I was stable. It'd take a little getting used to. There was a little bit of wind the other day, so it kind of moved me around a little bit more than I wanted to, but I found a good little pocket to kind of hang out in, just to try it out. Like I said, this has 6 scupper holes that are actually open. The other ones, hey Rocky, what you doing? There he goes. All right, I don't know how what those are for. I'll ask when I get back over there, but they are underneath this pad. This is really nice too. This is the difference also between the Moken and the lure, is that this standing pad is thick and it goes all the way up to here, I guess just in case you need it, and it's solid. It's very nice. So a couple things real quick before I show you the seat. These are just some little bungee straps. You can drop your lure trays in here, and they'll hang out in here. I didn't do that when I went out because I just had my tackle box up in the front, or my tackle bag, but you can do that. You can put a couple in there, and that'll hold them in. There's also built into the seat, it also has some little pockets, and I'll show you that here now. Here's the seat. It's in crooked right now because I don't have it mounted in there. I just wanted y'all to get a good look at it. This thing is nice. This is probably the best thing about the Kayak, is the seat. It's super padded, waterproof, water resistance, whatever you want to call it. And you can actually buy, I think this is the low back that comes with it. You can actually buy a high back. Now I probably wouldn't, unless I'm in this a lot and I realize I do want the high back, because this is at the perfect height that it goes right below my well, what I call a kayak life jacket, because that's higher up on my back, the back padding is, and this fits like right up underneath it, which was a perfect fit for me. It didn't push me forward. You can adjust these to however you want to lean, if you want to go back or up a little bit. This is pretty much straight up right now. I like the fact that these are not so high up. Some of the other ones, your regular type of seats, to me it feels like the straps are way up here and then they come way down here, and they kind of block a lot of an area. These are just built nice and low, nice and close, which I really like. These are the pockets I mentioned. Has some little pockets built in that you could throw some stuff in, pliers or scissors or whatever. You probably wouldn't be able to get both in here. You might be able to get a little tackle box in here, little tray, and maybe something in here. But all right, let me see if I can set up the camera so I can show you guys this, because it'll probably take me 2 hands. Okay, let's see if this works. This is a really weird angle. Anyway, this is gonna come back. I'm probably gonna have hitting the camera when I move this back, but here we go. You see it's got these little like little hooks that'll slide across, and I'll show you that here in a second. Probably have to move the camera completely actually to show you. The other thing is, it's better to raise this up. This is the other thing with the seat, is it does raise and lower. Let's see if I can get a view of that for you. All right, this will probably fall as soon as I do this, but there's a way to, you grab the red strap. This wasn't easy inside the kayak, so hopefully I can get this to work from here. There it goes. So you push down, you hold the frame here at the bottom, pull this, and then lift. Yeah, I thought that was going to fall. Anyway, raise and lift, and then it clicks in, and it locks down. Now the problem I had more so was getting it to drop down while I was on the water, and that's just me. I don't know if I can do this. I may try to set this up and try it in a minute, but let's go from here. Again, pockets on the sides. If it's raised up, it probably work better to use your pockets for smaller stuff, and then you could still get something in the little bungee straps here. Now, all right, let's get on this here. What this does is this then hooks around. Let's see if I can get a good view for you here. You spin this around, it goes over top, and it goes underneath the little wheel tightener thing. So we're just going to tighten that up. It does want to slide out every once in a while. When I was tightening it the other day, and it's doing it today, that's probably normal, I guess. And then you just tighten it up. Once you get it tight, it won't come out. Do the same thing with the other side. Flip that one over, snap it up underneath, tighten it up, and that holds it in place. Evidently, you don't have to hold down the front with anything. I didn't have an issue when I was fishing with it trying to flip up or down or over on me or anything like that. I guess if I leaned real far back, it might do something, but there are straps here and here that I did not ask what these were for. And I suppose you could loosen this up, run this across to this one, and it would hold the front down a little bit at least. I don't know if that's what those are for. There's probably another reason for those. If I remember, I'll ask and let you guys know. But anyway, so there's a seat, elevated. Let's see if I can get it to drop down. Should just be able to pull on it. I'm going to see if you have to go up with it first. Ah, I got it. Goes up. I think I got it. Let's try it again. So I'm pulling it up, pull it out, and then up, and that'll loosen it up, and then it can just go straight down. There you go. I don't know how difficult that is sitting in it, because like I said, I didn't get it to work. But I think this probably needs to be strapped down, because you're not going to be able to. You could reach down and hold it, I guess, and go up with it. And you kind of have to hold it and do like that. But it's nice. I like it. It's really nice to have an adjustable seat. They recommend that you paddle with it down because center of gravity and all that kind of good stuff, which I didn't do because I couldn't get it to go back down. I lifted it up before I got in it because I wanted it raised up, and that's like, oh no, now I don't know how to. I couldn't get it to go back up or back down. So it takes some practice, I'm sure. One of the guys at Music City Outdoors told me that it'd take a little bit to get used to. The more you use it, the easier it is to figure it out, which makes sense. Time and practice, right? All right, here we go. Let's go to the next part. There's not much left. Back storage area. It's a pretty nice size storage area. However, the only thing I did not like about it was that I have a rectangle crate, not the regular square milk crate. I got a rectangle crate that I use in the Tamarack, and it would not fit in between here. It was missing by a good ½ inch or so, and it would not fit down in here lengthwise. So I would have to turn it sideways or just get a different crate. Just not thrilled about that. I really like that crate that I have because it has plenty of space, but then again, I never have it full anyway, so I'd have to drop down to a different one. Now, again, rails in the back, rails in the front. This is going to be nice. Just, the bungees and stuff, of course, you're going to use that to hold down stuff. These are pretty cool because if I can remember how to do this right, I think you pinch them down. So pinch down or up. Well, that one I just popped all the way out. All right, let's try and get that back in there. Okay, so they just snap back down in there. I got that. But they do slide. And then I guess once there's tension on them, they won't move. Yeah, it seems like when I'm pulling toward the kayak with it, it doesn't want to move. If you move it a little bit this way, you can kind of slide it back and forth, and it does grab pretty good. So that'll be cool, you know, to strap other things down. But being able to add things to this, I've seen guys add, like say, the grommet type things or the other slider adapters to this, and then they mount like a whole section for a trolling motor back here. I may or may not do that. My goal is to try to connect it here with the beaver tail. Now I don't have the right size bolt with me. I saw another guy do like a modification to his, and I would want something that I could take on and off very easily, because the way I've done the back of mine, as you've seen on the Tamarack, has the wood block there, which is cool, and it has you know, the connections, but I didn't build it to be able to just take it on and off. This one, I would want it set up to where I could just take it on and off. Take a bolt out, drop a bolt through, connect it down in here. Let me pull something out of here, out of the, let me get something so I can kind of show you guys what I'm wanting to do. All right, so my idea is that the motor would mount back here. Just turn it around a little bit. Stuff all twisted up. I don't think it's going to work with the brackets this direction, but the goal would be to have this, have the bolt go through here, down into here. I wonder if I can do it from the other way around. Okay, so it's way easier to use my old broken trolling motor mount than to have to hold up the one with the motor on it. So I flipped this around to where if I go here, and there is space, there is a gap back here. If I take this and I go through here like this, get it centered, I'd probably have to drill a hole somewhere in this area, which would be difficult, right here, and then go all the way through, come through here, the bolt would go through there, and then I have to drill and match up a hole underneath through here, through this area. So it'd be difficult, that's for sure. Now, the other thing is, I'd probably have to add something flat here just to kind of help stabilize it, so it's not just sitting on this part, because I can tell already that's not going to do it. And I don't want to clamp down too hard on this, because I don't want to mess any of this up on the one if I get it, because that's a curve coming through here. It's not a real flat spot where these would hit. So I probably have to modify this somehow to have some type of a block here of some sort to keep this straight, but it would also have to not get in the way of my cable controls. So those are some things I'm thinking about and trying to figure out. Motor would be back here. I don't know if it would raise up. Let's just see if this gets pulled. Yeah, see, I can't raise it. It'll only go that way, which is not what I want. I'd want it to be able to push this and then raise the whole thing up. So it's a whole nother thought process. I may have to modify the whole back side and still use this as a way to hold to help hold it together, but I may have to raise it up flush with all of this, and I may have to do what the other guy I saw did, where he mounted some bolts up through here and had the adapters built in here, and he could adjust that, and that's how he mounted it, and it came down at an angle, and then he was able to mount this the appropriate way like this, so that he could also tilt the motor up, because that's really important when you're going through shallow water, to be able to have an attachment here that you could pop that up and move it. So I may have to mount something up on top of this area that this would set on directly, still run a pin through, maybe through the top here, down through here. Just haven't decided, just haven't figured it out. I know it'd be easier because I've got the rails that I can attach to, and that would be awesome. And then I could put one bolt, long bolt, all the way through here, and that would keep this from tipping, in addition to having a support system coming through here. So that's a cool logo on the back too. Not that that's what makes you buy a kayak. All right, well that's it. I think I covered everything I needed to cover. If I didn't, maybe we'll cover it if I buy it. All right, y'all have a good one. I hope I see you out there on the water, and hope you enjoy this review. Let me know. Shoot me a thumbs up. Make some comments. I don't even care if they're bad comments. Y'all keep it clean now, but keep it classy. But y'all hit me up. Appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe.